that ball game. 7 innings, gave up only 5 hits, struck out a career high 7 Padres in that game.
Outside, ball 1 to former Cub Juan Pierre, and we are underway. And Juan Pierre with another base hit. He came in at .404 on the season. They have not missed Manny Ramirez's bat. Mark Wegner in his 11th year will call the balls and strikes. Native of Minnesota, now lives in Florida. The crew chief is Jeff Kellogg at second. 55 degrees, no wind, none, zero, nada, zilch. We could go on and on. The flags aren't moving at all. Bob, I don't know if we've ever done a game together where the wind is nothing.
Well, stay tuned. It may change as the ball game progresses, but yeah, I can't recall a game in the last 4 years plus where the flags have just been hanging straight down out there in center field.
Rafael for call, and Pierre running, and the ball gets away from Soto, and thankfully Juan did not see the ball get away, or he might have thought about third. That's his 10th steal of the season. We know Juan Pierre pretty well, and the 2 things he's done already are the 2 things he does best: hit a single, steal a base.
And that's what the Dodgers have needed without Manny Ramirez in the lineup. This is a different looking Dodger ball club without the Ramirez power in the middle of the order. They've got good speed up and down the lineup. They'll steal bases. They'll take extra bases on base hits to the outfield. Very aggressive running ball club.
For call, fouls back. Now, the Dodgers have not missed a beat. They're 18 games over 500. They're 8.5 up in their division. And you see they're way up on the rest of baseball in terms of the best record. Only team with a winning percentage in the 600s. They just swept the Rockies, but in talking to their broadcasters, Bob, they said it felt like they didn't win a game. This was a pretty sloppy series in Colorado. And you know, when you give up runs there, it doesn't always look pretty, but they scored a bunch of runs. As Furcal slaps that ball past Fontenot and into shallow left. Pierre's going to score easily. You talk about small ball. The Dodgers playing it to perfection with the first 2 batters. That's an RBI bunt single into the outfield for Rafael Furcal.
Now, we've seen Furcal do this throughout his career, that slug bunt. He shows bunt early, draws the third baseman in, and then slaps the ball past him. And that time, Juan Pierre had jumped off of second base, drawing the attention of Ryan Theriot, which made that hole on the left side even bigger for Furcal.
They don't hit home runs, but they get on base. They lead the majors with a .375 on base percentage, best batting average, most walks. So it's a very pesky lineup, and I cannot remember the line former Cub Rick Monday, who's been a longtime broadcaster. What was the line he used?
They'll paper cut you to death.
Look at that. The lowest percentage of runs coming on home runs.
Yeah, I'll tell you, every manager in baseball loves the home run ball. Instant offense, deflating to the team that's out there on defense. But there's something to be said for base hit after base hit after base hit. Mix in a stolen base, mix in a sac bunt, and a walk. Gets everybody in that offense involved, and that's what the Dodgers have going right now.
And now one of the hottest hitters in baseball, as Orlando Hudson is in the middle of a career high 17-game hitting streak. He hit for the cycle on April 13th against the Giants. He leads the National League with 68 hits. He's replacing Jeff Kent at second base. 3-time Gold Glover. Furcal not running but shuffling down that baseline as Hudson hits it foul. Randy Wells and Giovanni Soto will have to be on their game tonight in terms of the running game. The Dodgers have 39 steals.
You know, and I take a look at the scouting report down in the coach's room before every ball game, and usually it'll list 2 or 3 or 4 players on the opposition that are hot, guys you have to be careful of, and then 2 or 3 or 4 that are cold. Well, there was a laundry list of guys that are hot in this Dodger lineup, and only 2 starting players, Russell Martin, the catcher, and Andre Ethier, the right fielder, were even remotely considered to be cold.
Well, the Cubs, if you look at this matchup on paper and all the numbers we've thrown at you here in the first inning, they're going to have to score some runs in this 4-game series, and thankfully they scored 19 in the 3-game series against the Pirates as Hudson strikes out. That's the first out for Randy Wells.
Well, and one thing you have to avoid when you run up against a hot ball club, and it's going to happen to every team at some point throughout the season. You're going to run up against a team that's been playing really well recently. Don't get caught watching them do their thing. You know, Juan Pierre, as you said, does what he does. He got a base hit into center field. He stole second base. Rafael Furcal with that slug bunt. Sometimes you can get caught in awe watching a team that's firing on all cylinders. The Cubs have to avoid that, concentrate on their own business, play solid fundamental baseball.
It's James Loney, the first baseman. He's hitting 10 straight. Just 2 homers, but he's knocked in 36. Inside corner strike, according to Mark Wegner. Well, Randy Wells hadn't allowed a run in his major league career into his last start. He gave up 3 on Saturday at San Diego in 7 strong innings, but Cubs weren't scoring on that trip, and he took his first career loss. Even with the run tonight, he's only allowed 4 runs in 23 or 2/3 innings in his major league career. The kick and the pitch. Another one on the inside edge. 0-2 on Loney with Casey Blake on deck. Mariano Duncan, their first base coach. Larry Boa across the way. That's high. 1-2. Former Cub.
Well, of all the people on the field tonight in uniform, I imagine Larry Boa probably appreciates the Carlos Zambrano snap as good as anybody.
Yeah.
Larry Boa, back in the day, he could blow up with the best of them.
He still can. A roller into center. Furcal makes the turn on his way to third. Furcal running well. This is his first start in a few days. He had some pain in his left buttock. I'm reading from the game notes. So this is his first start in their last 5 games.
The report I saw wasn't quite as graphic. Just said he had a sore lower back. I guess that's a real low back.
Well, he had back surgery last year, so that's why they're being extra cautious with Furcal. So first and third, only 1 out, and it brings up Blake playing third and batting 5th.
Really, Casey Blake, the man at the plate right now, is probably the only Dodger that you won't see attempt to steal a base in this series. He hasn't attempted one this year. Even their cleanup hitter James Loney on over there at first base, 3 out of 4 on the season in stealing bases.
Pitch inside corner, 1-1. What'll probably happen with the Zambrano suspension is Wells, with the off day Monday, can come back Tuesday, which is when Z was supposed to take his next start. By the way, that's his birthday. And then you can bring Ted Lilly back next Wednesday, and Z could go Thursday. So essentially, he doesn't really skip a start. It would be pushed back a couple of days. Other starters, Dempster and Marshall, looking on as the Gatorade machine is almost back to 100%.
And that used to be a premier seat right next to the Gatorade machine. I'm not so sure anymore.
Well, you've had Dempster and Zambrano. Who's next? Sean Marshall? Can't be Sean Marshall. Mild-mannered lefty. Ted Lilly, maybe? Hopefully nobody. We hope there's no frustration the rest of the year.
Yeah, we hope the Cubs make good contact against opposing pitchers as opposed to the Gatorade machine.
2-2. Got him. Well, Wells has painted a couple of times here in this first inning as Blake seemed to indicate he thought it was inside, and Mark Wegner disagreed. You be the judge.
Gio slides onto that inside corner. Looked like it might have caught corner there, and that's a good sign for Randy Wells. There's no question he's a guy that needs to work both sides of the plate to be effective. And if Mark Wegner's going to give him that inside corner, maybe an inch or so off the inside corner, that should work to his advantage.
If they give it to you, take it.
Absolutely.
And the right fielder, Andre Ethier. Another inside corner strike. The Dodgers got Andre Ethier from the Oakland A's in a deal that sent Milton Bradley the other way. On December 13th, 2005. So Milton tonight playing against his hometown team, the Dodgers, and a former team. And it's interesting, Bob, in the middle of last year's postseason series, and then at the end, it ended way too fast for the Cubs. They got swept by the Dodgers. You think, oh, I can't wait to circle that series when the Dodgers come to town next year as the Cubs look to avenge this loss. But then you get into the middle of a season, and it doesn't have the same luster, does it?
Of
I mean,
course.
you're worried about your own business.
Absolutely.
Pop fly, shallow left. Soriano's under it. And a good job by Wells to get out of it with only one run allowed. They had 3 hits and threatened to get more. Cubs coming up. Checking on Lou Pinella's Pepsi lineup for tonight's game against Randy Wolf and the Dodgers, brought to you by Pepsi. Refresh everything. Soriano, Terrio, and Bradley at the top. Lee, Johnson, and Soto in the middle. Mike Fontenot heating up after a 2 for 40. Andres Blanco's second straight start at second, and Randy Wells looking for his first hit.
Take a look at the Dodgers defensively. Former Cub Juan Pierre out there in left field. Len told you what he's been doing lately to help carry this Dodger offense. Matt Kemp over in center. Andre Ethier in right. Blake for Call, Hudson, and Loney across the infield. Russell Martin will be behind the plate tonight for left-hander, the veteran Randy Wolf. See the 2-1 record on the season. This will be his 11th start of the season. In the previous 10, he had 7 no decisions, but the Dodgers did win 4 of those games.
He's only given up 4 hits to left-handed batters. That's why you see a lot of righties in the lineup. Mike Fontenot batting from the left side. We know that. And we think Andres Blanco is going to hit lefty versus the lefty, even though he's a switch hitter. More on that when he comes up. The 0-1. Soriano out into the alley in left center. Kemp with a good arm is going to get it back in pretty quickly and keep Soriano to a single. Just keep this in mind. Matt Kemp leads the majors with 7 outfield assists, and he threw a strike to Hudson.
Base hit into left center field. Kemp plays extremely deep out there in center as well. Has great speed, cuts off those gaps. He used to make a lot of mental mistakes earlier in his career, but reportedly he doesn't get picked off bases as often. He remembers how many outs there are in an inning on a consistent basis. He's really blossoming into the kind of player the Dodgers thought he was going to be.
Ryan Theriot with an excellent series against the Pirates. 7 hits, 3 doubles. Knocked in 3, scored 4 times. And he likes hitting with men on base. Better with men on base than with nobody on. There's a double play ball, and it goes 6-4-3, and just like that, 2 outs. By the way, Bob, before I forget, I did look in the Pittsburgh paper today to see if there was any explanation in terms of why Freddie Sanchez ended up at third on a fly ball in the ninth with a 3-run deficit, and he just said no excuse. Like I didn't hear an explanation. He took full responsibility for it. So we'll never know why.
I talked to one of the Pirate broadcasters after the game, Bob Walk, and he said he looked like a greyhound at the racetrack when the gate went up. He just took off on contact with nobody out in the inning, turned it into an easy double play. Cubs were grateful for that.
1-0 on Milton Bradley, the former Dodger. 1-0 pitch, outside corner strike. It appears, Bob, as though Mark Wegner is going to give the pitchers a benefit of the doubt on the corners. That was the case for Randy Wells, and looks to be the case for Randy Wolf.
Oh, there's a throwback unit.
Steve Sachs. Sir, I don't believe you. 2-2 on Bradley. Now Giovanni Soto can sit in the front row. We're at Wrigley Field. Steve Sachs, not so much. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. A hit, no runs. It's 1-0 Dodgers. Dodgers 1, Cubs nothing as we get into the second. Russell Martin fouling back. You see Jay Martin. That's Russell Johnson, Geanson, Martin, the J in tribute to his mother's side of the family. His full name, Russell Nathan Johnson Coltrane Martin.
Junior.
Yeah. But it could be J. Martin J.
Well, you can call him whatever you want, but he's been a really solid offensive catcher in his time in the major leagues with the Dodgers. Rookie season of 06, hit 282. Followed that up with a 293 season, and last year a 280 hitter. Double digits in home runs every year of his career.
Gold Glover 2 years ago. 2 balls, 2 strikes on him. Kemp on deck, and then the pitcher Randy Wolf. A bouncer near second base, backhanded on the short hop by Andres Blanco. 1 out. Ryan Friel straining his left hamstring. He goes to the DL. Bobby Scales still not quite back to 100%, battling those flu-like symptoms. He never left town as he was sent to AAA Iowa. He was back at his hotel yesterday recovering, and then got the call, don't go anywhere, you're back. Believe it or not, this team started the season without anyone on the DL for the first time since I think '86 we had the number, but there have been a lot of stints here lately. Friel going on the DL for the second time this season. He was on with the Orioles after he got hit in the head by a pickoff throw.
Well, Bobby Scales in a little over 24 hours got the one call every ball player hates to get, that you're going back to the minor leagues, and then gets the call every player wants to get. You're coming back.
2-1 to Matt Kemp. Off the plate inside. So Ryan can just sit and watch. It's all he can do for the next 15 days. Good news on Rich Harden. He threw today on flat ground for the first time since suffering his mid-back strain. That was his first test. As Lou said, he passed it with flying colors, and probably won't be back next week right after the 15 days, but hopefully not too long after that as he talks with Jake Fox. Broken bat, base hit past a diving Mike Fontenot, and Dodgers are piling up hits again. 4 of them already.
Your lineup's in pretty good shape when Matt Kemp is your number 8 hitter. He was hitting .296 before that at bat. 4 home runs, 28 runs driven in. Also a stolen 9 bases on the season.
Now it's Randy Wolf. 4 career home runs for Wolf. Hit 2 in 1 game back in 2004 as a Philly against the Colorado Rockies. Well, the Wolf pack had to be really excited that day.
I bet they were. Well, he's a good enough contact hitter that there's no guarantee that he'll put down a sacrifice bunt. A lot of teams would bunt with the pitcher with 1 out and a runner at first base, but Randy Wolf over the course of his career has made enough contact at the plate that at least for the first pitch they're going to let him hack away here.
Joe Torre, basically for the first time in his managerial career this year, has actually hit the pitcher 8th a few times. But that was when Juan Pierre wasn't as hot as he is now. He had Pierre in the 9 spot, thinking he'd get more stolen base chances in front of Furcal at the top. Well, when you're hitting 400, you get put to the top. I think Juan's line at the time was, I don't care if I hit 11th as long as I get in the lineup. It's been tough for him the last couple of years. Whether hitting coach Don Mattingly was a great one. The best hitters of his era.
He's calling Donnie baseball. That's about the highest compliment you can pay to a player.
He bunts it foul on the 0-2. That's a strikeout. Tomorrow is Majestic Day here at Wrigley Field as the Cubs battle the Dodgers at 1:20. Throughout the game, autographed game-worn jerseys will be awarded to lucky fans and random seats, compliments of Majestic. If it happens in baseball, it happens in Majestic. Well, Dodger fans kind of fit in here. They're wearing blue. Not like going to St. Louis with all the red, and the blue stands out.
There's a big difference between Dodger blue and Cubby blue, though. I'm told.
I can't see it.
No. But I never heard Tommy Lasorda say he bleeds Cubby blue.
You're right. It's Dodger blue for him. They pitch out, and they're going to not get Kemp. He got a good jump and was able to beat the throw for his 10th stolen base.
Giovanni Soto maybe a little too deliberate on that pitch out. You're not really sure if the runner's going when you pop out from behind the plate, and good throw, just took a little bit too long to get rid of it.
It's hard to tell if he touched him with his glove. If he did, it looked like they had him.
That's always a tough call for a second base umpire when the runner goes in on his belly and the tag is applied to the back. Can't really get a good view of the hand on the base and the tag on the back at the same time.
So Wolf could not get the bunt down, but Kemp decided to take second on his own. And it's 1-1 on Juan Pierre. Kemp dancing off the bag, and Wells takes his right foot off the rubber. Here's the pitch. Almost hit him.
Sure, there's no intent there on the part of Randy Wells, but if you want to intimidate a base stealer, throw at his knees. If you want to intimidate a power hitter, you throw up and in, push his upper body away from the plate so he doesn't lean out over that outside corner. For a guy who uses his legs as much as Juan Pierre does, that's the perfect knockdown pitch.
Fair ball. Derek Lee will flip. Wells beats the speedy Pierre to first base, and the inning is over. They strand one in scoring position. Bottom two, 1-0 LA.
Carlos Zambrano had a big hit on the field, several big hits on the Gatorade machine. Billy Williams here early today checking it out, making sure it's okay. And then even the skipper, Lou Piniella, came over just to, a little love from Billy. That's nice. See, we like that. That's tonight's Have a Ball, thanks to our friends at the Illinois Lottery.
1-0 on Derek Lee. Snapped a 7-game hitting streak yesterday as he returned to the lineup. Wolf with a 1-0. Drifts outside on a little changeup. Derek's had a lot of experience against Randy Wolf. 10 for 37. No home runs, but 3 doubles and a triple. Fastball outside, 3-0. I guess Randy Wolf could down the road be the answer to a trivia question. Who pitched against Carlos Zambrano when he no-hit the Houston Astros? Randy Wolf was the starting pitcher that night. Swing and a miss. It's 3-2. And he got knocked around in that game in Milwaukee. Didn't even get through the 3rd inning. But he pitched a complete game shutout 2 starts before that in this ballpark. 9 innings, 6 hits, no runs. Driven deep the other way by Lee. Ethier chasing after it. It's going to be off the wall. In fact, just sits there right in the grass. And it's a double for D. Lee. There's a little patch of grass right up next to the wall, and sometimes outfielders won't even reach in there. They'll just put their hands up. But Ethier was able to see the ball and grabbed it cleanly.
Good to see Derek Lee driving the ball the way he did to the opposite field, right to the base of the fence out there near the 368 mark. Outfielders are taught not to reach in there and get the ball. Even if you can see it clearly, when you reach in there, that ball may trickle down, may get caught in a vine out there. But that time Ethier felt that he could get it out no problem and get it back into the infield. Reed Johnson has one job now: move Derek Lee to third base somehow.
Or hit a home run.
Yeah, that'll work too.
Hit 2 over his last 3 games, including the game winner in the 8th inning yesterday. He made a really nice catch. It was kind of a ho-hum play for him. Think about the great catches he's made as a Cub. It was a dandy right up against the wall in center, and he bounces this one to Blake. That'll keep Derek right at second.
The little things.
Well, the thing is, against a team like the Dodgers, the way they've been playing, you have to execute. You said that right off the top. Play your game. Try to do all those little things and give your team a chance. Now Soto. Strike 1 on a curveball. Not even at 70 miles an hour from Randy Wolf.
I mean, if Derek Lee's at third base right now with 1 out in the inning, chances are the Dodgers bring their infield in. Enhances Giovanni Soto's chances of driving Derek in from third base. Even a fly ball to the outfield probably brings home a run, unless it's a shallow fly ball to center to Kemp. You can run on Juan Pierre, obviously, in left field. Cub fans will remember that he does not have a good throwing arm. Kemp, as we mentioned, 7 assists, leads the National League, and Ethier in right field, a good arm too.
Shank foul. Skips through the upper deck. Huge crowd once again here at Wrigley Field. Big 4-game set against the Dodgers. Night games tonight and Sunday. Day games tomorrow and Saturday. Off day Monday. 10-day 9-game trip after that. Still 0-2 on Soto. Mike Fontenot on deck. The kick and the pitch. Boy, Wolf really wanted it, didn't get the call. 1-2.
It's pretty hard to beg for strikes with the wide zone that Mark Wegner's been calling in the early going tonight. You see where Martin sets up off the plate away. That pitch never did get back to the outside corner.
Got him that time. 2 outs.
Yeah, Randy Wolf can be sneaky quick with his fastball. Gets it up into the low 90s at times, but his ability to add and subtract on all of his pitches is what makes him tough. He'll take a lot off his breaking ball and float it up there. Then he'll throw a harder one, make the break a little bit shorter. So seems to have a pretty good feel for what he's doing out there on the mound.
He has been killer versus lefties. 1-0 to Mike Fontenot. Left-handed batters 4 for 43 against Randy Wolf. That's under 100 for the batting average.
Yeah, 093 to be exact. Well, a couple of at-bats tonight, so that has changed. The only lower batting average by left-handed hitters is his teammate, the closer Jonathan Broxton. Lefty's only hitting 073 against big Jonathan Broxton.
Well, the timing wasn't good for Ryan Friel going on the DL because Ryan 5 for 10 against Randy Wolf. He won't get a shot. He's on the DL. One and 2 to Fontenot. Dodgers 8.5 up on the Padres in the West. The Cubs are in 4th, 4 games back of the St. Louis Cardinals. Called strike 3. Third strikeout for Wolf. Cubs strand a runner at second base. 1-0 Dodgers. One ball, no strikes on Rafael Furcal. Make it 2-0. He'll be followed by Hudson and Loney. That's Frank McCourt on the left, the owner and chairman of the Dodgers. He bought the club in 2004. And our friend Tommy Lasorda, the Hall of Famer, on the right. A rare series here at Wrigley Field with the Dodgers in town, and he's not singing the 7th inning stretch as Furcal takes the walk. Cubs fans, don't forget to visit the WGN Sports Game Zone at WGNTV.com. Brought to you by The Great Escape for up-to-the-minute stats and information designed to give you everything you need to know during the game. WGN Sports Game Zone is available for every Cubs game. It's brought to you by The Great Escape. Pools, patio sets, play sets, hot tubs, and more. So we're getting a lot of hits on the Game Zone. There's a lot of great information during the ball game. Well, I mentioned this yesterday, the double flap helmet. Orlando Hudson, a switch hitter, only needs one helmet, not two. Maybe that's what Orlando wore in high school. Just felt comfortable with it and kept on going.
I recall, I'll have to ask him about it tomorrow, but I recall one time he said he wears the double flap because he likes it when he's on base. When he dives back on pickoff attempts, both of his ears are covered. And obviously, if you wore one flap on one side, that would expose the other side of your head. So maybe there's some sense to that. I'll have to ask him about it.
1-2 on him. For call at first, he just walked. The pitch, dribbled foul. Loney on deck, singled in the first inning. Two and two. Bob, we want to congratulate the Chicago Blackhawks on a fantastic run. Just an excellent season. So many exciting games at the United Center, particularly in the playoffs. Came up short last night, but Cristobal Huet made one of the greatest saves I've ever seen in the waning moments of regulation. He was basically down and out. He just lifted his right foot to keep the Blackhawks alive, and then they lost in overtime. But they're going to be back in this position, I think, many more times. I
agree with you. And I'll tell you, obviously the goal was to win. But as far as entertainment value, you can't get much better bang for your buck than the Blackhawks were this year. What a great season to watch. Exciting games. Good slider down and in under the hands of Orlando Hudson.
Well, I've heard the analogy a few times, and I think it's appropriate. The Blackhawks seem to be where the Bulls were in the late 80s, and it was the Pistons they were trying to pass. And at one point they did, and probably the same thing will happen to the Blackhawks and the Red Wings. One strike on James Loney. Ground ball, base hit. Boy, the ball has eyes when the Dodgers are up there. Here's a throw to third. It's going to be a little wide. Throw to second. Safe. They had a shot at Loney at second base, but Terrio's throw tailed a bit to the right, pulling Blanco away from the bag. The little things.
Yep. If you consistently do those little things well, I mean, for a call, probably a dangerous go right there, right in the face of Alfonso Soriano. But James Loney, the trail runner, wasn't content to stand at first base and figure up his batting average. He saw the throw go to third, so he advances himself into scoring position for Casey Blake.
So it's a single, and Loney moved to second on the throw to third. And here is Casey Blake. Cornermen in, they're back up the middle. I would have to think in terms of Furcall's move and then Loney taking a risk. Part of the reason the Dodgers are doing it, they're probably saying if I get thrown out, we'll still score some runs. I mean, this looks like a very confident offensive team right now. And when you're scuffling to score runs, not getting a lot of chances, maybe you don't take that risk on the bases because you say we may not have another shot.
I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to cost us a run. When you're scoring a boatload of runs and everybody in the lineup is hitting, that's when you take some chances.
Terrio will throw to first. It'll be an RBI ground out for Blake for call in, and it's 2-0. The table setters for the Dodgers have each scored a run. Pierre in the first, and for call here in the third.
I mean, ideally, a team plays intelligent, aggressive baseball. You always want your team to be aggressive, to think 90 feet ahead. But you have to have some forethought. You can't just run crazy and run into outs just because you're being aggressive. It has to be intelligent aggressiveness. And Rafael Furcal, quite honestly, has not always been the most intelligent, aggressive player, but he was on that play.
Five hits for the Dodgers. The Cubs have 2. Ethier's 0 for 1. And the pitch. Fastball strike at 89 from Randy Wells. Randy's from Belleville, Illinois. 26 years old. He's 6'3", 230. Former catcher. Facing the Dodgers for the first time in his career. One-two pitch. Inside. I don't know, Bob. Maybe, in fact, they didn't need Manny back. It seemed like every day this winter there was a news story on the negotiations, and he got off to a great start, as did the Dodgers. Tapper past Wells. Blanco will go glove to glove. Nicely done by the Cubs second baseman. And the Dodgers are 12-7 since Manny got suspended. It's 2-0 LA.
In the 8th spot, and I'm not sure if he's going to hit left-handed or right-handed yet. We're going to find out.
I think
Left-handed. I'm joking around.
I talked to him.
Oh, okay. Okay.
A lighter moment today from Lou Piniella, Director of Media Relations Peter Chase, and we have gotten to the bottom of why switch hitter Andres Blanco is batting left-handed versus a lefty. His first at bat yesterday against Zach Duke, he took from the right side, but he had left shoulder surgery in 2006. That would be the front shoulder, and the key shoulder batting right-handed. So still gives him problems, and he's just been better left-handed this year. So he decided, I'm going to go lefty, and late in the game he ended up with an RBI double against the lefty.
Yeah, he hangs in there good from the left side of the plate. You know, obviously it would be nice if he was 100% healthy and could hit from either side, but had some good at-bats yesterday batting left-handed against a left-handed pitcher, and he'll do so here again tonight.
So technically he's still a switch hitter, but he reserves the right to not be. Summers very near. The Bugs are out. Not quite Cleveland with the Nats. Wolf wanted that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I haven't seen lately what the switch pitcher is doing. I think he's with the Yankees minor league system. There goes the bat. Look out right into the third row of the seats behind the dugout as Blanco strikes out. That's 4 already for Randy Wolf.
Like just a high fastball blew it right by Blanco. Bat went flying over that first base dugout. Just hope everybody's okay down there.
Randy Wells 0 for 5 takes a strike. So the switch pitcher, he's righty and lefty, and I'd be curious to see if he can get through the minor league system and get to the major leagues. Well, what an asset that would be. Didn't they have that controversy right when he came up? The guys were moving all over the place, switch hitters. He'd go to one hand, they'd get in the other batter's box. A foul ball shot into the stands. Well, we tell fans often, and it bears repeating, when you come out to any Major League Baseball park, not just Wrigley Field, but make sure you're paying attention. A lot of people like to get on their cell phone, but boy, when the ball is in action, you better be watching. A 1-2 to Wells, tapper foul.
Especially in a situation like we just had. Blanco's bat ended up in the stands, and then Randy Wells hits a foul ball just a few rows behind where the bat landed. A lot of people are still concerned about the area where the bat landed, and not everybody paying attention to the field. That's a recipe for disaster.
Inside.
It's as old a cliche as the game itself. You got to keep your eye on the ball at all times. And for those of you who haven't been out to Wrigley Field or another major league ballpark, or any ballpark for that matter, just a word of advice: when the pitcher's hitting, watch out on the opposite side of the field. If he's a right-handed hitter, the pitcher is likely to hit a lot of screaming foul balls to the right side. A left-handed hitting pitcher is likely to hit foul balls to the third base side. It's because they're not as adept at swinging that bat. They're usually going to be swinging late, and when you swing late, that's when you hit line drives into the stands.
Payoff delivery. Another foul. Wells giving him a good battle. For call backing up. One of the best arms among all infielders in baseball. It was an easy play. 2 outs.
The 2009 Chicago Cubs baseball season on Cubsnet is brought to you by Bud Light Lime. The drinkability of Bud Light with the refreshing taste of lime.
Cubs baseball from the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. 2-0 Dodgers. We're in the bottom of the third. Soriano with a single in the first. He was quickly erased on a 6-4-3 double play ball. The top three in the Cubs order had a huge series against the Pirates. For call coming in, and they go down 1-2-3. Wolf has sent down 6 straight, and the Dodgers lead 2-0. Len and Bob and our Cubs net crew from Wrigley Field. Called strike on Russell Martin. A couple of Randys on the hill, Wells and Wolf in game 1. All-time series tied at 1,012. Dodgers with the upper hand in postseason play. We marvel at the all-time series every time we see the Dodgers since 1890. Each team winning 1,012 regular season games. This is the first of 8 meetings this season. A game or the series in LA will be in August. And the Cubs will have to deal with Manny Ramirez then, assuming he's healthy. Pitch. Full count, 3-2.
You know, Len, teams never think this way. You cannot afford yourself to think this way, but up here in the booth, I think if the Cubs could split this 4-game series with the Dodgers at this juncture, with as many guys banged up as the Cubs have and as hot as the Dodgers have been, as Martin singles into left field, I think if you could take a split in this series and then take your chances against them later in the year when you get some of your horses back, I think they would take that. But of course, ball players and coaches and managers, you just try to win a game every day. You don't worry about 4-game segments or 10-game segments of the season. You just want to win every day.
And I think along those lines, you know, you'd like to say this is a measuring stick series because you're playing the team with the best record in baseball, but This is not the Cubs roster that they hope to have down the stretch, missing their third baseman, Aramis Ramirez in particular. 6, 4, 3. That's a double play. So Matt Kemp bounces into a twin killing and 2 outs, and the pitcher coming up.
Terrio a couple steps to his right, plants his feet and gets that ball to Blanco in good shape so he can avoid that runner. Always helps when that ball is hit crisply. Gives you a little more time to get out of the way of that runner out there at second base on the turn.
So it's Randy Wolf with 2 outs. Now, having said that, if you can win 3 out of 4 or sweep this series, that's a huge boost to a team that has been undermanned lately and has been struggling. Is finally coming off a series win. Grab a little momentum going into the next road trip. Wolf grounds out to first. Cubs trying to get on the board. Terrio will lead it off when we come back. Forward with Toyota, Ryan Terrio. With runners on and then runners in scoring position and 2 outs, the numbers get better and better with men on base. Tonight's Toyota moving forward thanks to Toyota.
That looked like you pulling into the parking lot today.
I'm just excited to get here. That's a strike.
Let's see if Ryan can improve those numbers with nobody on base leading off the inning here. Find a way to get on there.
Well, one thing I know he won't do, and that is what he did in his first at bat. Bounce into a double play. You lead off an inning, a bat with 2 outs. You can't hit into a double play.
I've tried.
Still 2 strikes on him. They love Terrio. There's still no wind, which is remarkable. Played about an hour of baseball and haven't seen any wind whatsoever. This is as close as you can get on the north side of Chicago to playing indoors.
Oh, really? Because there is no wind, it's turned into a very pleasant evening here at Wrigley. A little chilly this afternoon when there was some wind blowing. Out of heavy overcast. The sun tried to break through a couple times right around opening pitch. Very comfortable night here.
Broken bat. Boy, he shattered it. And Hudson throws him out. That thing just disintegrated. I tell you, I worry sometimes about a guy cutting his hands as the bat splits. I saw Ryan look at what was left of the handle. Watch this. Oh, boy, it almost came back up and hit him. Jake Fox got cut by a broken bat at Iowa.
Playing defensively at first base. I believe it was a ground ball that was coming his direction with the barrel of the broken bat right behind it. He had to get stitches.
1-0 to Bradley is outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Well, Cleveland's starting to heat up, beating Tampa Bay today 2-1. Victor Martinez knocked in both tallies for the Indians, and they swept the Rays in 4 games. Tampa's now lost 5 straight and 17 in a row in Cleveland. Ball 4, and that's the first walk issued by Randy Wolf. Third base runner for the Cubs. Wrigleyville Rooftops has premier seating for up to 200 guests for corporate gatherings, family reunions, and bachelor or bachelorette parties. Individual and group tickets are available for all games. For more details, go to WrigleyvilleRooftops.com or call 773-248-ROOF. Swung on and missed by Derek Lee. He doubled out into right center his first time up. Remind everyone the grand opening of Little Cubs Field at Humboldt Park is this Saturday at 9 a.m. It's at Humboldt Park's Field 6. It's a new site of Little Cubs Field. The mayor will be there. Alderman Billy Ocasio, Crane Kenny, the Cubs chairman, and Cubs players will officially open the park. And the second Road to Wrigley minor league game will be here Sunday, August 9th at 1:20. The AAA Iowa Cubs will host the Las Vegas 51s. That's the Blue Jays' top affiliate. Another deep fly by Derek Lee, right center. This one's going to be handled as Ethier hauls it in. You can go to Cubs.com. Tickets are as low as $5 for the Road to Wrigley. It'll be an official Pacific Coast League matchup. Last year, in a Midwest League game, Peoria and Kane County, 32,103.
Good time was had by all. We talked about it last year, but especially this year with the AAA team coming in here to Wrigley, you're likely to see some guys that you're going to see on this field in the very near future.
Reed Johnson looks at ball 1. Reed did not get a chance in the postseason last year against the Dodgers. Part of the problem is the Dodgers didn't use a left-handed pitcher to throw 1 pitch in 10 games between the two teams all of last year. So lo and behold, they face 3 left-handed starters this weekend. Go figure. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? You play 10 games against a team and you don't face 1 pitch from a lefty. Just got a piece of it. Oh, here was a game winner yesterday as Reed Johnson won it in the 8th.
You're never quite sure with Reed Johnson because of the way he busts out of the batter's box. You're not sure if he got enough to get it up into the basket or into the crowd, or is it going to hit the wall? He just comes sprinting out of that batter's box, but he got plenty of that one yesterday.
second stint for Randy Wolf as a Dodger. Grew up not too far from Dodger Stadium, Canoga Park, California. Pitched in the LA City Championship game held at Dodger Stadium in '93 and '94. Went to El Camino Real High School. Back-to-back city titles for his team. Ground ball, Casey Blake will throw to first. And Randy Wolf is shutting out the Cubs through 4. It's 2-0 Dodgers. Randy Wells working to Juan Pierre. Strike one. Up and in. 1-1 the count. Pulled and Blanco dives late. Nicely done by Andres Blanco just to flag it down, but generally not going to be able to get Juan Pierre, who has 2 more hits tonight.
Well, Blanco did everything he could possibly do there. I mean, he's on a dead sprint toward that hole between first and second, lays out, makes the play, but just too much speed on the part of Juan Pierre. He legs it out for an infield hit. And now you got to keep an eye on him over there at first base once again.
Well, Randy Wells has been in a traffic jam since the start of this game. And one thing we've noticed, he battles.
Well, really, he's done that since he came up here to the big leagues. He's pitched himself into and out of some tough jams. Doesn't seem to get rattled out there on the mound.
Oh, 1 for call. Low and outside. With a throw over. We talk about batters looking hitterish. Juan Pierre looks runnerish.
Yes, he does. He always does.
He has a base stealer's lead. looks for every little edge he can get. 439 stolen bases, #1 among active players. Since the start of 01, he basically has 100 more steals than his nearest competitor, Carl Crawford.
Last pickoff attempt to first base, he flinched ever so slightly as if he were going to break for second base. Well, we talk about it all the time, Len, the effect that speed has on the game. Randy Wells pitching out of that slide step now, can't get quite as much on his pitches. Having trouble finding the strike zone here to Furcal because he's worried about Juan Pierre at first base.
With nobody out especially, you almost have to kind of tell yourself he's probably going to take second. Don't worry about it. Just get the batter. Because of what you just said, if you do lose your focus, all of a sudden a potential one-run inning can balloon into something a lot bigger than that.
You make a mistake to Furcal and suddenly you've got 2 runners on and you have to work your way through the middle of the Dodgers order.
Another throw. He's just going to make Pierre work for it. When I was younger, I always wondered, well, why is a guy carrying gloves? What's the point of that? Well, so he doesn't break a finger on a headfirst dive.
And sometimes also guys have a tendency when they slide feet first to drag their hand behind them.
He is running, and it's going to hold up for Johnson. That'll be an easy double play as Pierre was already past second base. So 2 outs. Dodgers took a chance, and Pierre knew that he was a dead duck, so he didn't even try to round second and head back to first. It's the 5th inning, brought to you by Subway. Hey, Chicagoland viewers, how would you like to win 5 $5 footlongs from Subway? Just be the 500th texter to text Subway to 97999. Go to WGNTV.com for complete information and rules. Two down in the inning. Hit foul by Hudson. He has a 17-game hitting streak on the line, and he has struck out twice. High on a heater, 2-1. Only one other National League game tonight, and an excellent pitching matchup. Derek Lowe and Dan Herron in Arizona. Braves and the D-backs. And they'll get underway in about 15 minutes. We mentioned Cleveland edged Tampa Bay 2-1. Boston won at Minnesota 3-1. And Baltimore leads Detroit late 2-1 in the 8th inning. Blanco to Lee, inning over. Bottom 5. Soto, Fontenot, and Blanco due up 2-0 for the visitors. Shot of the game sponsored by Comcast. So Norman Rockwell painting right there. Cubs baseball in high definition sponsored by Comcast.
Happy birthday to this guy.
Well, they're both pointing at each other. Soto fouls back as we start the home half of the fifth. Happy 15th wedding anniversary wishes go out to LA Transplants and forever dedicated Cubs fans. Rob and Candace Cummins who are here tonight. And Becky says happy anniversary, John. No last name required, apparently.
You know who you are, John.
Yeah. I forgot my tuba.
How do you go to a ball game without your tuba? Probably easier to catch a ball in the tuba than it is in a glove.
Nice job of hitting by Soto as he waded back and smacked it into center for a leadoff single.
A real good approach by Gio. Big sweeping curveball goes right down, lines it back up the middle of the field. Well, judging from some of the foul balls that the Cubs hitters have had in this game, on Randy Wolf fastballs, they've been fouling them off to the opposite side of the field. Perhaps their game plan is to look for those off-speed pitches, the big curve, the slider, the changeup, and try to do damage against the off-speed pitches.
The hits have been scattered. And now Wolf facing back-to-back lefties, and he struck out both Fontenot and Blanco the first time through. In that Red Sox 3-1 win at Minnesota, Jason Varitek had the Gordie Howe, the equivalent of the Gordie Howe hat trick. He had 2 home runs and got ejected. Gordie Howe hat trick would be a goal and an assist and a fight. Both catchers, both managers were tossed from that game. Different arguments. Todd Tishner was the umpire who made those calls. One and two. I would be curious to know the last major leaguer, if there has ever been one, to hit 2 homers in a game in which he was ejected.
I'm sure somebody will be able to find that for us.
The problem is ejections sometimes kind of fall through the cracks in terms of the official stats. I mean, Bobby Cox is acknowledged to be the all-time leader in ejections. Cubs pitching staff off to a head start this year. Ted Lilly, and it kind of wasn't talked about much today because of the 6-game suspension for Carlos Zambrano, but no suspension for Ted, just a fine after he got tossed the other night from the dugout. So that's really good news. Foul tip, strike 3.
Really slow breaking ball that time by Randy Wolf. We talked about it early in the game. He'll change speeds on all of his pitches, but especially that big curveball will sit anywhere between 65 and 75 miles an hour, depending on how hard he wants to throw it, whether he wants to throw it for a strike or bounce it in the dirt.
I'll ask you a basic question. Would you say Randy Wolf and Ted Lilly are pretty similar pitches? I mean, they throw basically the same pitches.
I think that's a fair comparison.
And Wolf maybe throws his curveball a little bit more than Ted.
Although we've seen outings where Ted has had a real good feel for the curveball and gone to it a little bit more. But yeah, they're similar in style. We've seen Wolf use that backdoor slider to right-handed hitters on occasion tonight. Move his fastball in and out, up and down, dropping that occasional curveball. Ted's a much better hitter. He's probably down the clubhouse listening right now.
Oh, yeah. I also think Randy Wolf occasionally drops down a little bit in terms of his arm angle. 2 strikes, especially to lefties. 0-2 on Blanco. Leadoff man has been on 3 times for the Cubs. They haven't been able to push across a run. Ryan and Ryan looking on. The pitch. Swing and the miss. So the 2 lefties are combined 0 for 4. And all 4 outs have been strikeouts.
Once again, it appeared to be the big, slow curveball. Starts it off the inside part of the plate, breaks it all the way across down below the knees. Not only the movement on that pitch, but the lack of speed. He really took a lot off of it and got Blanco out in front.
Wells skies foul and out of play. The rest of the weekend's matchups look like this. Chad Billingsley and Ted Lilly, which should be a really good one tomorrow. Eric Stoltz, a lefty, and Ryan Dempster for the Cubs on Saturday. And then Eric Milton, who's coming off his first win in a long time against Sean Marshall Sunday night. Off days coming up on the Mondays the next 3 weeks. Long trip starting Tuesday night in Atlanta, and you can catch on WGN Sports at 6 o'clock Central Time. And Wolf strikes out the side after the Soto single. That's 7 on the night for Wolf. Cubs rematch of last year's division series. Loney Blake and Ethier against Randy Wells is keeping his team within shouting distance. Randy Wolf has been terrific. Loney is 2 for 2. Both hits have been singles. Strike one. In the dirt, a ball and a strike. It's like a fastball on the way, and it's into left and a running catch for Soriano. Well, great to see our good friend Chicago native Eric Collins. Done a lot of work here in Chicago over the years, and you talk about a great job. He's working with Steve Lyons on Dodger television. He does the games Vin Scully does not do, and doing a fantastic job. Vin travels to the National League West, but generally doesn't go east of Denver. So Eric does a lot of games in the Midwest and the East Coast, and we're really happy for Eric. Does a fantastic job. 1-0 the count on Blake. One and one. Make it 1-2. Of the positive development so far this season, I think Randy Wells would have to be right near the top. Did not make the opening day roster, had never started at this level prior to 2009. And he is pitching like he'd like to hang around for a while.
And it remains to be seen how long Randy Wells will hang around if he continues to pitch the way he has. I think he's going to be here for a long time, but I think it illustrates a really good point about the difference between grading a pitcher on just his arm alone. What kind of fastball does he have? What kind of breaking ball does he have? Or does he have the ability to pitch? And I think Randy Wells has proven in the short time he's been here, he knows what he's doing. Knows how to change speeds, knows how to tempt the hitter with pitches off the edge of the strike zone. He knows how to use both sides of the plate, and he knows how to pitch himself out of jams. All very important.
Now, in a way, even though he hasn't been pitching his whole life, I wonder if a converted position player to a pitcher might get a better grasp of pitching, because you have to work so hard at learning all the nuances. And there's no doubt Randy has worked extremely hard to become the pitcher he is today. You know, he doesn't take anything for granted.
Well, and also he's been in that batter's box, and I would imagine that given the fact he's gone from behind the plate as a catcher and a hitter to the mound as a pitcher, he probably got carved up a few times as a hitter. You know, he knows how tough it is to hit good pitching if you know what you're doing, changing speeds, changing locations. You don't have to be overpowering with your stuff if you know what you're doing. Greg Maddux. Everything always comes back to Mad Dog.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I played with a lot of guys in the minor leagues that could throw 100 miles an hour, but they were just as likely to throw it in the press box as they were to throw it over the plate. A lot of Nuke LaLoosh types. And their arm would grade out an 80, but their ability to throw strikes and get hitters out, forget about it.
2-strike offering to Ethier, just missed the plate. 1-2. In the dirt, he's run it full 3-2. There's a familiar face, Larry King, in the ballpark tonight. Field before the game, chatting with Lou Piniella. And Larry will sing the seventh inning stretch this weekend. Pulled deep, and Bradley can't get it. It splits Johnson and Bradley, and Ethier has a stand-up double for his first hit of the night, as well as was also close to his first 1-2-3 inning tonight.
Ethier himself has been bothered by a bad toe recently, been in a little bit of a slump, but splits the gap perfectly in right center this time. Long run for Milton Bradley, had him shaded a little bit to pull. Gave Ethier just enough room to drop that ball between the two outfielders.
Pulled his hands in nicely and drove it out into the alley. Much was made, and rightly so, of the addition of Manny Ramirez late in the year last year, as that propelled the Dodgers into the postseason and eventually to the NLCS. But they have some good young players, and we're seeing them right now. Ethier, Martin, Kemp, Loney. A pretty good mix. They're without their opening day starting pitchers on the disabled list, Hiroki Kuroda. He's only made one start.
And another move the Dodgers made last year that kind of went under the radar because of Manny, but Casey Blake coming over to play third base, probably as steady and solid and fundamentally sound a player as there is in the game.
To third, backing up Fontenot. He'll throw to first. Martin retired. Dodgers done in the sixth. It's still 2-0 Dodgers. Accord game summary. Visit your Honda dealer and test drive a 2009 Honda Accord. The Dodgers, the highest run scoring team in the majors, almost 6 per game, and Randy Wells has done a really nice job tonight. 100 pitches, 62 strikes. Alfonso Soriano takes ball one against Randy Wolf. Soriano, career .341 batter against the Dodgers coming in, and he's 1 for 2. Inside. Jay Cutler. I wonder how many people recognize Jay Cutler's got the Cubs sweatshirt, the hooded sweatshirt, Cubs hat on. He might be able to sneak around here for a little bit, but that's not going to last too long.
No, not after this year.
Alfonso Soriano has made the All-Star team 7 straight years, and he looks to be going again. First update on the balloting. With the old school stirrups, and Jason Waddell, who still hasn't made his major league debut, he got called up yesterday, replacing Neil Kotz in the bullpen. High fly ball deep to center, warning track, and it's caught by Kemp. Just didn't get enough of it. Wind not helping, wind not doing anything, wind not hurting.
No. It's about as fair as Wrigley Field will ever play. Not a drop of wind, or a puff of wind, I guess. Looked like a changeup tailing down low and away from Soriano. Got out in front of it just a little bit, and underneath it, skied it high in the air, just to the warning track to the left of center field. You see that big knob on the Ryan Theriot bat there. That's I believe that's his own bat now, but it's Milton Bradley's model. He started to use a Milton Bradley bat earlier this season, and the home runs started to rain down into the bleachers. He decided he liked that model of bat. Got that flared knob at the bottom. This gives you a little more leverage.
He's already shattered one tonight. And a ground ball to second. Randy Wolf has pretty much cruised to this point. But the tying run will come up in the form of Milton Bradley, as Theriot is on with his 8th hit of the homestand. Don't miss the action as the Cubs entertain the Dodgers this Sunday. Game time 7:05, but be sure to arrive early. The first 5,000 children 13 and younger will receive Cubs wristbands, compliments of Frito-Lay. A lot of great major leaguers came out of Southern California. Just think about guys today, you know, mentioned Randy Wolf, Nomar Garciaparra, Milton Bradley, grew up a Dodger fan in Long Beach, California. The Giles brothers, the Gonzalez brothers, in the San Diego area. Not a big surprise, California, Florida, Texas. The hot spots, Louisiana. We always tend to be slightly partial to the Midwesterners because they have to take ground balls and gyms prior to mid-April. Not quite as easy to get your reps in.
To shovel the snow off the batting cage to go get some cuts in. I mean, we joke about it a little bit, but unfortunately, I do think a lot of very good ball players, a lot of very good athletes from the Midwest tend to get overlooked because, as you mentioned, guys get a lot more exposure. They can play year-round in those warm weather states. Tend to get a lot more looks from the scouts. It's much easier for the scouts to go to a ball game in Long Beach or San Diego or Daytona Beach than it is to sit out in the snow in upstate Michigan early in April or May. So, unfortunately, I do think some of the guys slip through the cracks of play in the Midwest just because of the weather.
Ground ball for call. Turns a routine 6-3 double play, and that ends the Cubs' sixth. Off to the seventh, 2-0. Underway in the seventh, called strike on Matt Kemp. This will be it for Randy Wells as he started the inning with 100 pitches. Boy, he's been a tough luck guy for the Cubs, making his fourth start. So far, the Cubs have supported him with just 5 runs while he has been in the game. None tonight. Big Cub fan, Bill Peterson, formerly of CSI, Chicago native, will handle our 7th inning stretch tonight. Huge sports fan. Called strike 3. Kemp is erased. That's 6 Ks for Wells.
You know, and we've talked in the past how wins and losses are not really an accurate gauge of how good a pitcher has thrown the ball, and that's certainly the case for Randy Wells. There's only so much you can control as the pitcher, and he's certainly done his job.
Strike on Wolf. How do you think Randy Wolf has done against Mike Lamb in his career? I would think he's done pretty well.
You would think so.
A 1-2 pitch. Now 2-2. Pierre on deck, 2 for 3 on the evening. Pierre will come up after 2 strikeouts.
Seven strikeouts in the game for Randy Wells, tying his career high that he set his last time out.
If Pierre stays as hot as he's been, Joe Torre will have a good, difficult decision to make regarding who plays and who sits, because Juan Pierre the last year plus has basically been the odd man out. He's been pretty honest and vocal about wanting to play every day. He's been an everyday player his whole career up until last year. And Bob, he just seems like the kind of guy, in order to be effective, needs to play a lot. And part of it is accepting your role as a part-time player, and he believes he's a full-time guy, and he's certainly proving it right now. Hits a fly ball out into right center. Bradley with a long run catches it. More on that a little later. Time for the stretch.
Actor and Chicago native William Peterson.
All right, we got a score to settle with these guys. Let them hear you in Hollywood. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back, 'cause it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Get some runs!
Two to nothing Dodgers. Bill Peterson is with us from CSI fame and doing all kinds of stuff after the series, and a huge Cub fan, huge Blackhawks fan. Tough loss last night, but a great run, Bill.
It was great. It was just a wonderful year, the whole deal with the Hawks. It was great. Now we got to get these guys going.
As you said, a score to settle. Although Bob and I talked about it real early on. You build up the rematch, but the Cubs are more concerned about righting their ship, and having won 2 in a row certainly helps. The Dodgers are coming in red hot.
They're tough. I've been watching them a little bit out in LA, and they play a lot of good baseball. But I really thought the last couple innings yesterday it looked pretty good. I think those bats are coming back.
It's a long season.
Yeah.
The 2-1 to Derek Lee. Deep drive, right center. And it's caught. We've seen way too many of those here the last couple of weeks.
There's been 4 on the track today, and there's no wind. Look at the flags. I've never seen it like this. It's like.
Now, you've been coming here a lot longer than we have, and we've never seen it go 2 straight hours without the wind.
No, I mean it's like middle of July or something. It's like one of those thick days in July, and the wind was blowing around before we came in here. I don't know what, but there's a couple of those balls would have made that wall.
No doubt. Here's Reed Johnson. So an interesting year for you. kind of ending one chapter of your life, although you're still an executive producer, correct?
Yeah, and I try to leave them alone. It was it was a great run for me, and I didn't want to overstay my welcome really, and I wanted to get back to Chicago to be able to do some theater because I hadn't been able to do any for the last 10 years really, and so I have the opportunity to do that. It's nice to come home. It's nice to be able to come to the ballpark a little more often.
Absolutely. That's dunked out into center. A bloop single for Reed Johnson. Check out your first pitch tonight. And the last time I saw you was actually at the United Center. So, yeah, it's nice to have a little extra time to head to the ballpark or the stadium. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
How would you like to have batted against that, Bob?
Well, I batted against a lot of pitchers that threw like that. I couldn't hit them either.
You could have put that thing on all the way down Grace.
At least you threw a strike. It was right there.
Yeah, I didn't bounce it in.
So you were on CSI for 9 seasons.
Yeah.
Shows don't last that long.
Well, that's what I thought when we started. But
it's a great show. I mean, we have to be really, really proud of your work.
We were over in Europe this last a month ago, and it's just huge over there as well. It's everywhere we went in Italy and France. They were very gracious, and they loved the show today.
The 1-0 pitch from Wolf, and this could be 2. And they turn it.
That didn't help you guys.
Third double play turned by the Dodgers. Can you hang for 2 more minutes? We'll follow up with you, Bill.
Sure.
Thanks. Bill Peterson. We'll be back. With Girl.
I saw her with the black tongue tied, wearing the roses, fist pounding on a vending machine, toy diamond ring stuck on a finger, with the news she could hang from the sun, put it out with the dark sunglasses, walking crooked down the beach, she spits in the sand where the bones are bleaching, and I know I'm gonna steal a ride.
Do you guys pick the music?
Well, it's a group
really,
effort.
Because I know you're big musicians.
Well, our
It's
associate
great.
producer, Doug Stanton, picked this one tonight. That's a good
That's
track.
great, yeah.
Tonight's Bud Light Fan Cam, just the right taste that never fills you up. The difference is drinkability. Aaron Heilman is on to face Rafael Furcal. We're with Bill Peterson. And Lou Piniella went out to talk with the second base umpire, Jeff Kellogg, on maybe that neighborhood play, Bob, on the double play.
Yeah, the throw from Casey Blake was to the outfield side of second base, and Hudson, he was in the neighborhood, as you said. It might have pulled that left foot off the bag before throwing on to first base, and Lou just wanted to go out and make sure that second base umpire Jeff Kellogg knew that Lou was concerned. Not going to change the call.
Furcal slaps that bunt right back to Heilman, who throws him out. Remember, he picked up a slug bunt RBI single to left in the first inning.
That was tough.
See, this is our version of CSI. We break it down in slow motion, frame by frame.
Look at that.
He might have had the toe cleat on the bag there when he caught the ball, but very close.
Yeah, well, they may have to give us one like that.
Wouldn't be a bad idea. Here's Hudson, 0 for 3. Again, it's getting late. He's trying to extend a hitting streak to 18 games, and he looks at a strike. Congratulations, Bill. Honored with a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame in February.
Yeah, that was wild. You know, I mean, you wander around down there on Hollywood Boulevard and you see all these names, Jack Benny and, you know, Bob Hope, and then all of a sudden I'm right in front of Musso and Franks.
Well deserved.
I think that's really for after you pass away. It's a place where people can put candles, pretty much. That's what.
The thing about, and there are a lot of Chicago natives who are actors who have lived in L.A., and there are a lot of great things about living out there. I'm sure we could go through a list, but everybody likes to come back home. And that is nice scoop over there by Fontenot in the backhand. My wife works for Harold Ramis. He moved his family back here to Chicago. There's just something about this place. Everybody wants to come home.
It's hard to leave. You know, I mean, yeah, the weather in California, can't beat it, and you know, my business is out there a lot. But to be able to be back here, it's just it's the great city of the country, really. You know, I mean, New York is great and LA's fine, but this is our city.
The heart of America.
Yeah. If you went through the '69 Cubs, you'll always come back.
Sure. Chatted with Pat and Ron earlier, right?
Did.
How's Ron doing tonight?
He's great. You know, he's great. It's always a thrill for me. You know, growing up, watching him. I mean, I still to this day, and I've met him so many times now, and he's so gracious. To see him again, I can't believe I'm talking to Ron Sandy. I mean, we used to sit out there over on Waveland hoping to get his car to stop and get the autograph as they were pulling out of the lot.
He didn't blow you off, I hope.
I don't think I ever got close enough to get it.
Okay.
You know?
Well, if you got close enough, he would have signed it. I know.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I made him make up for it, though, since. I got balls and hats and shirts. I got everything signed.
Last thing, and most importantly, tell us about the play going on.
I'm here doing a play called Blackbird at the Victory Gardens Theater. We open, I think, in July 3rd and run through August. So we're going to be here all summer, which is great. And it's a tense psychological play about a complex relationship between a man and a young gal. And it's just a two-person play. I play the man, Bob, just so you know.
It's a stretch,
but it's yes, you're right.
Who do you play? I play the guy.
I play the dude.
I play the guy. There's a guy and a girl. I play the guy. But no, it's a really interesting play, and we're going to be challenged to pull it off. So,
Victory Gardens Theater.
Yeah, it's the old Biograph.
Okay.
Where they gunned down John Dillinger. Yeah. Movie coming out this summer, Michael Mann's movie.
Always a pleasure, Bill.
Thanks, fellas. It's always a pleasure for me, really.
Hopefully we see you in L.A. maybe later this summer as well. 2-0 Dodgers.
Series is back. Coldplay will be playing at the Alpine Valley Music Theater July 25th, brought to you by Bud Light. Tickets are available exclusively at livenation.com. Coldplay, July 25th, brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light, the difference is drinkability.
Hang on, I'm playing the piano here. Bobby Scales batting for Mike Fontenot. Jake Fox on deck for Andres Blanco, and I don't think there's any question about it, Bob. Lewis decided, okay, we get it. Randy Wolf with lefties, they haven't had much of a chance this year, and tonight the Cubs lefties 0 for 4, and they've all been strikeouts. And we're in the 8th inning.
Yeah, you don't have to hit me over the head with a 2 before to figure that out.
Or hit Russell Martin in the mask with a foul ball. Apparently, I just made a funny and I didn't even realize it. I mentioned the piano and Scales in the same sentence.
Oh.
See, I'm only funny when I don't mean to be. When I try it, it doesn't work. Bouncer to first. It's foul. Fortunately for the Cubs. Bobby's still not back to 100%, but I can tell you what. Being ill and being a major leaguer feels a lot better than being sick and being a AAA player. So things changed today, unfortunately at Ryan Friel's expense, but Bobby's back.
We talked about Scales, we talked about pianos. If only Jimmy Key had not retired.
There you go. Yeah. Thanks to Bill Peterson for hanging with us. I'll tell you, he might be my favorite 7th inning stretch guest. So easy to talk to. Loves the Cubs.
Love Chicago.
Yeah. 2-2 on Scales. With again Jake Fox on deck.
Need a runner.
3-2. He's run it full. Huge crowd tonight, 39,579, making some noise. Deep fly for Bobby Scales, left center, out near the wall and into the bleachers. 2-1. Great at bat for Scales, and it pays off having him pinch hit for Fontenot. 2-1. This is second pinch hit home run.
After crossing home plate, a deep breath and a look to the skies, Bobby Scales got out in front of it just a little bit, but because of that full extension, our Southwest, how far did it fly? 371 feet. Cubs pull within a run. Jake Fox has been announced as a pinch hitter, and Joe Torre making his way to the mound and just made the call to the bullpen for the right-hander. We're probably going to see Micah Hoffpower hit for Jake Fox here.
So Bobby Scales now 3 for 4 with 2 homers, a triple, and 4 runs as a pinch hitter. It's 2-1 Dodgers, and we'll be back.
Player of the game, who else? Bobby Scales with a great at bat, ran the count to full, put the Cubs on the board with that home run into the bleachers in left center field. Our AM/PM player of the game, Bobby Scales. Too much good stuff.
Dodgers dip into their bullpen. Right-hander Ramon Troncoso has given up 1 earned run in 15 road innings as he faces Jake Fox, who unofficially, Bob, has an 18-game hitting streak, 17 at AAA, and doubled yesterday as he got called up. Nobody on. A 2-1 Dodger lead. 1 ball, no strikes. Their closer is hard-throwing Jonathan Broxton. Base hit center field. Fox keeps hitting. 2 for 2 in the bigs.
I think they're trying to get Coy Hill's attention.
And Lou coming out. I don't think they wanted him announced.
Now, there's a protocol for a pinch hitter. Generally, the guy obviously comes out in the on-deck circle, gets ready for his at-bat, but then after Jake Fox got the base hit, the strategy changed. Lou wants to use somebody else as the pinch hitter. The umpire looks to the manager on the bench, and the manager then officially points at the player that he wants to pinch hit, and only then is the player considered to be in the game. Lou never gave the point to Coy Hill. The umpire never pointed to the press box to indicate that Coy Hill was the pinch hitter, so it's a little bit premature.
So it'll be Fukudome, and I guess the question is, what did Mark Wegner determine? All right, he's pointing at Fukudome. I don't think Coy Hill ever officially was announced, so he still should be available.
I agree with you. I don't think he was ever officially put into the ball game, even though the public address announcer called Coy Hill's name. The umpire never officially put him into the game.
So it's Kosuke with Fox, the tying run at first base. He has a short lead over there. The kick and the pitch is taken outside. Ball 1. Nothing. Blake in at third. They're in double play depth up the middle. Dodgers have already turned 3 double plays.
If you're looking for a pinch runner for Jake Fox, it would probably have to come from the pitching staff. We know Coy Hill, we assume Coy Hill is still available off the bench. You wouldn't use your backup catcher to pinch run. Micah Hoffbauer, the only other available player off the bench, and you would assume Lou wants to save him for a possible at-bat later in this game. Bobby Scales has already been used, so if you're going to pinch run, you probably have to get into the pitching staff, and that guy normally would be Rich Harden, but he's on the disabled list.
And I think Bobby is going to, or rather Jake Fox is probably going to have to play third. With Fontenot and Blanco out, you would assume Scales would go in to play second, and Fox to third in the 9th. It's a 24-man roster for the next 6 games, including tonight, because of this suspension. For Carlos Zambrano, 3-1 on Fukudome, who hasn't pinch hit a lot. He's 0 for 1 on the season. Rich Harden has been used as a pinch runner, but he's on the disabled list. Fans are on their feet. Troncoso's pitch, ball 4, 2 on. That's Rick Honeycutt, the pitching coach, heading out to the mound with Soriano at the plate. Rick Honeycutt led the American League in earned run average in 1983, although he didn't even spend the whole year in that league. 25 starts with Texas, and then ended up with the Dodgers. 9 appearances and 7 starts. 2.42. Here's Soriano, 2 on, no outs. Shows bunt. All right.
He has done it before. It's been a few years. I believe he's got 8 sacrifice bunts in his major league career. Most of those came much earlier in his career.
The 0-1 pitch swings and misses at a slider. It was 1 year ago today. The Cubs went into the bottom of the 9th, trailing the Dodgers here at Wrigley Field 1-0. They tied it in the 9th and won it in the 10th.
I'll tell you one thing, Len, that show of bunt on the first pitch by Soriano didn't fool the Dodgers. Not one infielder moved.
Kick and the 0-2, and he struck him out. The Soriano, who won the game that night 1 year ago, plating Mike Fontenot in the 10th, but can't come through in this spot.
That's the one. We've seen that a bunch of times in his stay here in Chicago from our Southwest Sky Cam. That slider that starts on the outside part of the plate in the strike zone and dives in the dirt low and away.
It brings up Terrio, who's 1 for 3. Don't worry as much about the double play with Soriano at the plate, but you do with Terrio because he hits a lot of ground balls, and he is now grounded into 2 double plays tonight. That one 4-6-3, and that ends the inning. Scales homer makes it 2-1. Jake Fox was working with Alan Trammell before the game at third base. He's going to get some real game reps now as Bobby Scales stays into play second. And Jose Escanio will pitch. All three guys were Iowa teammates when the season began. They're now in the big leagues. Well, I couldn't even get it out of my mouth before Terrio grounded into the double play. Soriano's a fly ball hitter. Terrio's a ground ball hitter. Unfortunately, he's hit 2 ground balls that have resulted in double plays tonight. Casey Blake takes ball 1. Tram all over the positioning as Fox plays in at third. Lou said that Jake told Lou and Tram, it may not look pretty, but I'll get the job done. 2-1. Well, one thing I know, he has gotten the job done at the plate with 2 hits way outside. Blake took a couple of steps toward first base.
Painted that outside corner with a fastball, a little bit of tail on it, just enough to get it back on the plate. Run the count to full.
Ball 4. Leadoff man walking. Visit the official online shop of the Chicago Cubs at Cubs.com. Browse the largest selection of authentic team gear, including clubhouse caps and t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your team gear straight from the source. Shop the Cubs.com shop. Off the plate inside on Ethier.
Only 2 sacrifice bunts by a Dodger position player this year. One by Orlando Hudson, one by Juan Pierre. Joe Torre does not like to give up those outs with the guys he feels more comfortable swinging the bat. He's going to let Ethier try to hit that hole on the right side of the infield.
There is no action in the Dodger bullpen. Jonathan Broxton did pitch yesterday. It was his first outing in 4 days. Angel Guzman is tossing for the Cubs.
You know, Len, there may be a really good reason for it that I don't know about, and I plan to find out about it if possible before game time tomorrow. But the Aramis Ramirez injury happened back on May 8th.
Yep.
And Jake Fox, was hitting probably close to 400 about that time at the AAA level, but he only played 1 game at third base after the Ramirez injury until his recall just a few days ago. I don't understand why Jake Fox wasn't playing more third base at the AAA level, knowing that could possibly be an option with Ramirez being on the shelf as long as he figures to be. Like I said, there may be a very logical explanation, and we'll try to find out for you. But it just seems like with that injury, he would have had more reps over there at third base.
Escanio getting a big out. Ethier on a 2-0. The lazy pop fly to left.
I'm sure Jake Fox got his work in at third base every day. He takes ground balls at third. He takes ground balls at first. He shags some balls in the outfield during batting practice. He's caught some games down at the AAA level. But actually getting out there in game action where there are bunt situations where you have to shift according to the hitter and according to the pitcher on the mound, really get acclimated to that position. He only had one start at the AAA level.
Breaking ball strike to Russell Martin. Wouldn't mind a nice ground ball right to Jake to start an around the horn double play here.
Works for me.
Yeah. I'm guessing Jonathan Broxton is just not available. And the reason, Bob, would be 38 pitches yesterday.
Ooh, that'll do it.
Yeah. Took him that many pitches to throw one inning. Gave up a run in a non-save spot.
I mean, that's the equivalent of 2 appearances normally for Jonathan Broxton. And it looks like Guillermo Mota beginning to crank it up down in that right field bullpen.
Two to Martin. The next pitch bounced foul. By the way, Guillermo Mota has 1 save over the last 4 years. We'd really like to see Escanio keep the Dodgers right where they are and go into the bottom of the ninth down by only 1. That's assuming Troncoso comes out, but his spot's due up here coming up after Kemp, who will bat after the second walk of the inning. Troncoso threw 11 pitches in the 8th. And Lou out of the dugout. And he's asking for Angel Guzman. 2 on, 1 out. We're in the 9th. Cubs trail 2-1. has not given up a lot of hits. You see the opponent's batting average under $170. Second appearance on the homestand. Saw him yesterday. 2/3 of an inning after Zambrano got ejected, and he retired both hitters he faced. Set the scene for you. Blake at second, Martin at first. They both walked. 1 out. We're in the ninth, and the Dodgers lead 2-1. Mark Loretta, who has been sizzling as a pinch hitter. See bottom right of your screen, getting ready to pinch hit.
Loretta 8 for 19 on the season as a pinch hitter off Joe Torre's bench. You'd like to see Kemp hit that double play ball right now. Even though he's got great speed, he has grounded into 5 double plays this year.
Ball 1. Randy Wells with a quality outing again tonight. 7 innings, 2 runs. Will not get his first win. And Jake Fox looks it in, gets 1, and that's it. Ooh, Bobby Scales flipped. But they did get the out at second base. He got run over by Russell Martin. Well, I think Jake Fox's line was right on. Might not look pretty, but gets the job done. At least they get 1 out. And as he fielded it fairly cleanly, 2 down in the inning.
We talk about the rhythm and timing of a double play all the time, and the rhythm was thrown off right there at the beginning. Bobby Scales wasn't quite prepared for that throw. I'm not sure. He really took a long time after he got the feed from Jake Fox. And normally there's a step and a throw right there, but an extra step for Bobby Scales, and that gives Russell Martin a chance to get into his legs and flip him out there.
Yeah, Bobby's lucky he did not suffer a serious injury like Akinori Iwamura did. He's out for the year for Tampa Bay.
You know, and given the fact that Larry Rothschild called the entire infield in, as you get one more look at that breakup, fortunately Scales got his feet off the ground just in time. And you really worry is when the infielder has those cleats planted firmly in the dirt and takes that kind of a hit. I was about to say Larry Rothschild called the entire infield out to the mound. I would imagine they wanted to make sure everybody's on the same page in the event of a possible double steal here. If the runner at first base, Kemp, breaks for second, everybody needs to know what's going to happen with the baseball. Hey, usually there are different options. Either you try to throw the guy out at second base, you fake a throw to second, look to the runner at third, you come out of your crouch and throw straight to third base. Sometimes there's a trick play where the infielder cuts in front of the bag at second. Larry just wanted to make sure everybody knew what was going to happen.
So now with 2 outs, Troncoso is going to take the at bat.
Which gives you all the more reason to think they might try to pull some kind of trick base running play here rather than send up a pinch hitter.
Nothing in 2. He's 0 for 3 this year, and those are his career numbers. So Joe Torre wants Troncoso to get a 2-inning save tonight. Kemp runs, and he'll get there without a throw as he lost his helmet. Apparently no stolen base.
Well, Kemp breaks for second. The helmet comes off, and neither Cub middle infielder, Ryan Theriot nor Bobby Scales, broke to cover second. No attempt to throw by Giovanni Soto, so no stolen base awarded.
Bob Rosenberg has changed it. It is a steal and a swing and a miss to get out of the inning. Last chance for the Cubs. They're down only one. Stick around. Have the lead. Good job by Angel Guzman to get out of the jam in the top of this inning. Ramon Troncoso with 2 saves this season. And Bob, it kind of looks like the thought is give the closer the night off tonight after a long day yesterday, and Troncoso probably won't be available tomorrow. You have a little bit of a luxury if you're Joe Torre with an 8.5 game lead in the division, and I'm sure he would tell you if this was a game in late September, he'd probably bring his closer back even after being stretched out yesterday.
Well, you can do one of 2 things: either try to space out each ball game, use 2 or 3 pitchers one day, 2 or 3 pitchers the next day, or give him multiple innings as he's going to do tonight for Troncoso. He used Belisario for 2 innings in the ball game last night too, so he's probably unavailable tonight.
Cubs are within 1 swing, and Bradley bunts, and he gets there. Troncoso tried to go glove to glove and couldn't make the play. So Bradley with a bunt single. That took everybody by surprise. And because it's a guy who normally doesn't bunt, it doesn't have to be perfect.
No, not at all. I mean, he popped it in the air a little bit, but he put it in a real good spot. They call that the Bermuda Triangle over there. Try to put it between the pitcher, the first baseman, and the second baseman. Create some confusion. And just enough confusion for Milton Bradley to reach on a leadoff bunt.
Tell you what, he got down the line in a hurry. You haven't really seen Milton open up the throttle. He had the groin injury early on. And it's Derek Lee. Tying run on, winning run at the plate. Nobody up in the Dodger pen. We saw Mota earlier, but then he sat down. Base hit, center field. Bradley stops at second. Throw is airmailed by Kemp. Two on, nobody out. Winning runs are on base.
Derek Lee fights that ball off up the middle of the field. Milton Bradley with a good decoy around second base. He dropped his head and acted like he was going to go to third. That drew the throw from Kemp. And that one gets through all the way to the backstop. The Cubs have 2 runners in scoring position with nobody out.
The entire Dodger infield is on the mound. You know what the Dodgers want to do, what they've done all night, that is turn a double play. They are going to guard against the bunt as the infielders play, the cornermen play in on the grass. Double play depth up the middle. Reed's going to square, and he bunts it foul. Blake wants to stay at third if he can, with Troncoso fielding a ball that's bunted toward the left side of the infield. You have Loney charging hard from first.
Yeah, normally the third baseman will go through a set of signs to let the infield know what bunt defense they're going to use, but nothing was put on that time, so you have to assume they're going to play it the same way they did the first pitch, with Blake staying back. Lee Johnson needs to get that ball down the third base line, away from the pitcher, force Casey Blake to come in and make the play.
All right, now hit a 3-run homer. We'll go home. Seen that happen a few times. I'll let him swing away here, don't you?
I think so. And Reed will have the advantage of the corner infielders drawn way in. The middle infielders are kind of pinching towards second base a little bit. There's a lot of open space in that infield right now. Just don't hit it right at somebody.
The 0-2, and he was going to bunt.
I think that was on his own, and Mike Quaddy's going to come down and have a chat with him. If Lou wanted him to bunt on the 2-strike pitch, he would have put the bunt sign on. That's usually what a manager will tell the coach to go tell the hitter. No freelancing.
And you may ask, well, why would he freelance? I think Reed Johnson feels a responsibility. I was asked to bunt. I'm going to get it down. He's hustling hard. The throw's going to go to first, so it works out like a sac bunt. As he hit a slow ground ball to Furcal, second and third. You have Soto coming up, and then the switch hitter, Bobby Scales.
From our Southwest Sky Cam, that little chopper to the left side of the infield. The only play Furcal has is to go across the diamond. That serves the purpose of a sacrifice bunt. See what the Dodgers do here. They would have the option of walking Giovanni Soto. Looks like Russell Martin's got the right hand out. That's indeed what they're going to do. Set up a double play.
They have turned 4 of them tonight. Bobby Scales led off the 8th inning with a home run from the right side of the plate against Randy Wolf. Final batter Wolf faced. There's ball 4. They are loaded. As a pinch hitter, and it was a deep at bat versus Randy Wolf. What a great ending to his day if he could knock in the winning runs here. Yesterday, got a ticket to Des Moines, holed up in his hotel as he was recovering from illness, and then got a call, nope, you're coming back. Never even made it to the airport. He put the Cubs on the board in the 8th, He tries to, at the very least, tie it here in the ninth. 3 on, 1 out, 2-1 Dodgers. A nail biter tonight. Here we go. Outside. We've seen Bobby Scales be pretty patient here in the major leagues. Not swinging at a lot of bad pitches. That is a strike.
Troncoso, pitching out of the Dodgers bullpen, has thrown as many wild pitches as any starter on this Dodgers staff. 3 on the season.
A 1-1 pitch. He took that one. 2-1. Matt Kemp plays a shallow center. At least right now, we saw him play pretty deep earlier. He's trying to cut down the tying and possibly the winning run. Ground ball, foul.
Well, we know on a base hit to left field, we're going to see a play at the plate. You have to believe Mike Quade is going to send Derek Lee on any ball hit in Juan Pierre's direction.
Big 2-2 pitch. Here it is. And he struck him out on a fastball. Down to their final chance.
Now, Bobby caught a little bit in between there. We talked about the good at bats he worked. That's a borderline sinker. Started at the knees, ended up down low out of the zone. Didn't know whether to pull the trigger or take it. Got caught in between.
Here's Jake Fox batting 1,000. He'd like to keep it that way. And now Kemp backs up several steps with 2 outs. Ball 1. Jake has pretty sick power, but he doesn't need to hit a home run here. A single could do it. 1-1. A single will definitely tie it and could win it. Off power on deck if Fox finds a way to get on.
Hey, Len, it's an omen. For the first time tonight, the flags are moving out there in center field. Wind blowing straight out.
1-1 pitch. Dribbled foul. Cubs have had plenty of opportunities tonight. Andy Wolf got off the hook for the most part. And the 1-2 to Fox, swing and a miss at a slider, and that's it. So Ramon Troncoso comes on, pitches 2 innings to get a tough save, and the Cubs leave the base